Hello, and welcome to another update video on ADA. Here on the ADA chart, the market is currently following the forecast so far, nicely actually. So we'll see if we get that last 4-5 pattern as well. But you might recall from yesterday's updates that we were watching for a B wave to occur here, or a B wave bounce, a B wave correction, and said, look, as long as we stay below 63.1 cents, the focus remains on lower prices. The pressure remains downward, so we're simply following at the moment this pattern, filling in the pattern really. The question is, of course, is this all of the third wave? I can tell you it could be, but other interpretations are possible. We want to unpack some of them in this video. But first of all, looking at the bigger picture zoomed out here, and I'm not going to go to the daily chart today. We did that extensively throughout the week, but the idea is we could be in the late stages of an Elliott wave triangle. But that is only valid as long as this yellow and red line is holding here at 51 cents, as you probably know. This is the critical invalidation point for a triangle, which I'm labeling wave 4. And the move to the downside is labeled a WXY structure. So we have this A, B, C in wave W. Then we have an X wave rally, and a Y wave is an A, B, C. And this is exactly what we're tracking right now. And I gave you a target area already a couple of weeks ago, or let's say a week ago. I think it was when the wave X topped here. So yeah, 1 to 2 weeks ago. And it is defined between 55.5 cents and 49.9 cents. So market is currently in this corrective pullback, and the idea is that in this Y wave we are in a 3-wave move, and we have to consider the bigger picture, the context, which suggests we could be in the late stages of a triangle. But we also have to consider the subwave structures, a WXY structure. So that means, okay, we could really come close to at least a larger bounce or an upside reaction. I would not rule out another test of 51 cents. Bear in mind, we've already tested this level on the 3rd of Feb, 2nd of Feb, 3rd of Feb, and here on the 6th of April, 7th of April. It might happen again. Any break, or especially a decisive break below that level, would be an invalidation of the pattern. It would be an invalidation of the bigger picture. It would not change the downtrend. At the moment, we're in a local downtrend, so that needs to be understood. Bigger picture, larger uptrend, potentially unfolding, but honestly, we've been in a large sideways range since January, and then locally, there is clearly a correction. And I understand this as a short-term downtrend, and I will only change my perspective if we get a break above resistances in an impulsive way. So while there is a larger time frame pattern and we have an invalidation point on the larger time frame, the lower time frame is in this case leading because it tells us short term where it's going, and it's still going down. But we have to pay close attention to this support area down there, and together with the micro counts, we get a good idea where the price might attempt a bounce. Now, a Y wave, as I already said, is an ABC structure. So we already got the A wave, we got the B wave, and we could now be in the C wave, which should be a 5-wave move. So now let's zoom in, shift everything a little bit here to the side, so we have a little bit more room. But honestly, if we understand this as a 5-wave decline, there are a few ways how this could be labeled. Now I decided to label it like this: 1, 2, A, B, C in wave 3, and we could get a 4, 5 next. I cannot rule out that we get maybe another lower high and another lower low, but at each step, I'm going to communicate the relevant resistance area. To be honest, many of the other, you could say, alternative interpretations that apply here would eventually probably lead to a break below 51 cents. So I'm just showing a pathway that works at the moment, because it clearly works, that it keeps the trend down. I want to have the resistance on the chart that, if broken, tells us that something might be shifting. So let's change the resistance area. And I'm not necessarily saying this is the only or the correct wave count, but I need a resistance area on the chart that we can monitor and that will tell us when the trend is likely shifting. So at the moment, I see this as a wave 4 bounce that might be unfolding, and I'd say at least one more low. But we also have to pay close attention to Bitcoin, so I would not expect ADA to rally without Bitcoin, for example, and the Bitcoin chart is cleaner on the micro level. I still see this here as a potential ABC structure to the upside, So after that dip that we saw yesterday, we could indeed be now in a fourth wave bounce. Now, it could be something different. I will show you an alternative scenario, but for now, this would be a resistance area I would apply and monitor for the white scenario. So as long as we stay below 61 cents, 61, there is absolutely no evidence that a top is in. Okay, sorry, a low is in. Now, another scenario might be this one. 1, 2, unchanged, okay? And then we are still in the third, could get a fourth and the fifth. That would be the yellow count. And the microstructure might be slightly different in that one. So, for example, I could say that maybe this was A, B, C. And then, you know, we're doing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, and we could get just maybe a less strong bounce now, and we go down more directly. I just want to show it to you. I'm not going to put it onto the chart right now because we'll make it too complex. Just want to show it to you. I will remove it again. It's just that if we don't see, or let's say if we see a rapid move down and another corrective bounce, then yeah, we'll probably come closer to that 51 cent level. But either way, even then the resistance area should be respected, which means if I see an impulsive bounce above resistance, we can start to think about alternatives, but I really need a break above the 65.6 cent level for a more convincing signal that a low has been established. That's the update on ADA. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, if you are interested in additional updates, check out our X profile. You can get additional updates, discuss with the community. There are some news and much more. But just make sure that you only follow the link, and obviously the channel with the golden check mark, yeah. Thanks so much. I wish you a great weekend. Bye-bye.